Hey, what's up you guys? Thank you for joining me again. Now in this video we are going to be covering chapter 5. But in chapter 5 there are two main subtopics. The first one is arithmetic progression and the second one is geometric progression. In this video we are going to cover specifically arithmetic progression, and the geometric one I will leave it to the next video. So without further ado, let us get started. So for arithmetic progression, before I start with the examples, let me just give you a brief overview of what this subtopic is about. So arithmetic progression, there are three main formulas that you have to know. The first formula is to find Tn. What is Tn? Tn means the value of term. Now if you don't understand what I'm saying now, don't understand. I mean don't worry. I will be giving you guys the explanation and then we'll go through the examples. I bet you will understand much more when we go through the examples. Alright, so Tn, what is Tn? Tn is the value of the term. So the formula is a plus n minus 1 d. Okay, so what is a? A means the first term and d is the common difference. Now example, let's say you have a sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. Right, this is a sequence. What is the a value? A value is the first term, which is t1. The first term here is 2, correct? So the sequence here, the first term is 2. So a is equals to 2. What about d? D is what we call as common difference. Okay, so what is common difference? So if it is an arithmetic progression, you will notice that the common difference for each of the numbers would be the same. So in this case, what is the common difference? 4 minus 2. Answer is 2. So that means from 2 to go to 4, I need to plus 2. And then if you notice, all of the jumps are plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. Correct? So this is what we call as common difference. When you take 6 minus 4, you also get 2. When you take 8 minus 6, you also get 2. So if it is an arithmetic progression, you must have a common difference. If you don't have a common difference, then it is not a arithmetic progression. So in this case, what is the common difference? Common difference is 2, because that's what we just solved, right? All you minus, you get 2. So that is common difference. So this is the first formula that you have to know. Okay. The second formula that you have to know is the sum of terms. Okay. So sum of terms, there are two formulas. The first formula is this: n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 d. Okay, so this is the first formula. It's very similar to this, but this formula is for you to solve the sum of terms. So for example, if I say, can you find for me the sum of 3 terms in this sequence? So you take 2 plus 4 plus 6, correct? But if I ask you to find sum of 50 terms, are you going to add one by one, 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 and count all the way until 50? No, you're not going to do that. So you use this formula. Okay, you just substitute. What's the n value? N value is, since you're looking for S50, which is the sum of 50 terms, you substitute 50 into your equation. So 50 over 2 times 2 times a. What is a? So a is the first term, which is 2, plus n is 50, right? So 50 minus 1 times d. What's the difference? The common difference is 2. So you solve this, you get your sum of 50 terms. Alright, so this is one of the formulas. There is also another formula that can be used to count the sum of terms, which is n over 2 times a plus l. What is l? L is the final term. So for example, let's say the sequence they gave you and they tell you the last term is 550, let's say. Okay, they told you the final term is 550 and they want you to count the number of terms, I mean the sum of all terms. So you can actually just use this formula as well, because you know what is the L value. The L value is the final term, which is 550. Okay, so instead of using this formula, okay, you can straight away use this because you know the final term. Alright, so that's all you have to know for arithmetic progression. Don't worry, we'll do more examples and you understand the formulas better. Determine whether each of the following sequence is an arithmetic progression and give your justification. So like I said, if it is an arithmetic progression, it must have common difference. Okay, so that is what we are going to check in this question. So question A, the first common difference would be 13 minus 9. Answer is 4. What about the second common difference? 17 minus 13 is also equals to 4. What about the third common difference? 21 minus 17 is also equals to 4. So in this case, you notice that the common difference for all three of them are the same. Correct? So therefore, this sequence is an arithmetic progression. Alright? So that's the first one. Question B. Now, same thing, you're going to check whether they have common difference. So what is D1? D1 is 1 over 4 minus 1 over 2. Answer is negative 1 over 4. What about D2? D2 is 1 over 6 minus 1 over 4. Answer is negative 1 over 12. And then you have D3, which is 1 over 8 minus 1 over 6. And your answer is negative 1 over 24. So in this case, all three values are different. So D1 is not equals to D2, not equals to D3. So therefore, this sequence is not an arithmetic progression. Right? Next. Eunchae Muis starts to work in a company at a certain month. His first annual income is $36,000. So from here, they already tell you the first annual income. So if he has a sequence of annual income, right, every year he's getting his salary, you know that the starting of the sequence, the first value is 36,000. So in other words, this is your A value, correct? This would be your A value. Okay, let me write this again. A would be equal to 36,000. Okay, so your salary starting from 36,000, and then increment for the following year is 1,000. So the increment is how much? Plus 1,000. So it should be 37,000. Okay, for the following year, and then the sequence goes on, right? Plus 1,000, plus 1,000, plus 1,000, and so on. And then from here, what is the 1,000? The 1,000 here is the common difference, because every year it is increasing. So that is the common difference. So question A, calculate the number of years in which Eunchae Muis needs to work in order for him to receive twice his annual income. So in this case, he's going to keep increasing non-stop until he reaches twice the amount he's receiving right now. Twice. So 36,000 times 2 would be 72,000. So he wants to reach a point, number of years later, n years later, he wants to reach 72,000. So how do you solve this? So to solve this is what we use Tn for. Tn is the term value, right? So we want to know at what n value, the number of years, it requires for him to achieve the term value of 72,000. So Tn is equals to 72,000. Alright, so what is the Tn formula? So A plus n minus 1 times D, correct? So what is A? A is 36,000 plus n, you don't know what is n, you are looking for n, so leave it empty, and then D is 1,000 equals to 72,000. So if I shift, n minus 1 should be equals to 72,000 minus 36,000 divided by 1,000. So n minus 1 should be equals to 72 minus 36,000, 36 divided by 1,000, 36. So n is equals to 36 plus 1, 37. So he has to wait 37 years for him to achieve an annual income of 72,000, which is double the amount he's receiving right now. Okay, now what about question B? So wait, you can write here n 37 years. Okay, 37 years. Question B, the yearly increment if his salary during the 6th year is 43,500. So in this case, they're asking you to find the new increment. The previous question they gave you increment was 1,000, correct? So now you have a new increment. So A is going to be the same, 36,000. But D is something that you have to look for. Okay, you don't know what it is. But they gave you this. They said the 6th year. So that means the 6th term, right? In this sequence, the 6th year means the 6th term is going to be equals to 43,500. Okay, that's what they gave you here. The 6th term is 43,500. So you're going to substitute into the term formula, which is A plus n minus 1 times D equals to 43,500. So what is A? A is 36,000 plus n is what? This time you have the n value. So 6 minus 1 times D equals to 43,500. So how do you find D? D is equals to 43,500 minus 36,000 divided by 6 minus 1 is 5. So your answer is RM 1,500 ringgit yearly increment. Find the sum of the following arithmetic progression. So they're asking you to find what? Sum of following arithmetic progression. So what's the formula? So there are two formulas, right? First one is Sn equals to n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 d. This is the first formula. The second formula is n over 2 times a plus L. L is the final term. So we see whether we can use any of this formula or not. Okay, so in this case, question 1, they're giving you the sequence here. So what you notice here is that they give you the first term, which is negative 20. Can you find the common difference? Yes, you can, which is negative 15 minus negative 20. Answer is 5. So the increment is adding 5 for every term. Okay, but what you notice here is that they gave you the final term as well. You see there is no more continuation, right? 100 is the last value of the term, of that sequence. So from here, you can actually use this formula. But the problem is, if you notice, you already have your A value, you have your final term, which is L value, but you don't know what is your N value. So how are you going to solve? So before you use the sum of value formula, sum of term formula, you must first find the N value. So in this case, you want to know how many terms are there. Since this is the final value, so Tn is equals to 100. You want to know the final term, what is the N value, right? So by getting the N value, you are finding out how many terms are there. Okay, so in this case, what is the formula? A, which is negative 20, plus N minus 1, you don't know what is N, D is 5, equals to 100. Okay, so now you're going to shift, so N minus 1 equals to 100 plus 20 divided by 5. So N minus 1 is 24. So N is equals to 25. So you know that in this sequence, from negative 20 all the way to 100, there are a total of 25 number of terms. Okay, so now you want to find the sum of all the 25 terms. So now you can use the formula Sn equals to n over 2. So 25 over 2 times A is what? Negative 20 plus final term is 100. So negative 20 plus 100 would be 80 times 25 over 2, you should get 1000. Right? So this is your answer. Next, question B. So this question is a bit different. Why? Because they didn't give you the final value, but they gave you the n value. They said the first 23 terms, so you know n value is equals to 23. And then you have the a value, which is 3 over 5 based on the sequence. And then you also have the common difference, which is 6 over 5 minus 3 over 5. So you have n value, a value, and also d value. So now you can find your sum of terms. Okay, in this case, you want to find the first 23 terms, so it's S23. Okay, so I'm going to use the first formula here since we don't have the final term, correct? So n is 23 over 2. 2 times a is 3 over 5, plus n is 23 minus 1 times d is 3 over 5. Okay, so just calculate. You should get 6 over 5 plus 22 times 3 is 66 over 5. Okay, so just use your calculator. You should be able to get 1653 over 5. This is your answer, the sum of the first 23 terms. Alright, now let's look at the next question. Given that Sn is equals to 2n squared minus 5n, find the first term. So now for this kind of question, right, it's actually pretty common. So I want you all to understand this clearly, okay? Imagine if I have a sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, okay? This is my sequence. Now, if I want to find the first term, which is this is equals to a, correct? But in this case, you don't know. They only gave you the formula, so you don't know what is your sequence. But what you know is this a value, which is also t1, should also be equal to s1. Why? Because s1 means sum of term, correct? So s1 means the sum of the first term. So the first term is actually the term itself. Remember the first term. So there's nothing to add up. If I say sum of 2, okay, the sum of 2 terms, it means I must take 4 plus 2. So now I cannot say that s2 is equal to t2. This is not equal, correct? Because t2 is 4. But s2, the sum of term is 6 because 4 plus 2. So you cannot say they are equal. But sum of 1 is equal to term 1 because there's nothing to add. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this. This is very, very crucial. Sum of first term is actually the same as the first term itself. So wait, I'm going to use this example again later. Never mind. So in this case, you're going to find first term, which is also S1. So just substitute into your formula here. So 2 times 1 power 2 minus 5 times 1. Answer is 2 minus 5, negative 3. Alright, next, B. Find the ninth term. So this question, right, there are two ways to solve this. First way is a very long way, which is finding your actual sequence. So you want to find what does this sequence look like. So you can do by finding S1, which you already found here. It represents T1, correct? So you can actually form your A value. A value is negative 3. Now what's the second value? Second value is you find S2. You find the value of S2, and then when you take S2 minus S1, this would be your T2 value. Okay, remember, when you find S2, which is the sum of the first two terms minus the sum of the first term, you should get your T2 value. Okay, make sense? So that's how you get your T2 value. Once you get your T2 value, you can find your common difference, T2 minus T1. So this is actually a very long process. I don't want to do this. Why? Because there's an easier way. The easier way is, if I want to find the fifth term, but I only given the sum of terms formula, what I can do is I can take the sum of all 5 terms minus the sum of the 4 terms. Correct? When I minus this, I should get 10, which is the fifth term. Correct? Does this make sense? It has to make sense, because otherwise you won't, otherwise you'll have to use the long method to solve this. Okay, so what I can do, T9 is actually the same as sum of 9th term minus the sum of 8 terms. Okay, so you see, based on this example, you want to find the 5th term, you can find the sum of total 5 terms minus the sum of 4 terms. So you eliminate the front 4 terms, so you only get the 5th term. Clear? So you're going to do that here. So S9 would be 2, n is 9 square minus 5 times 9 minus, okay, now you got S8, so 2 times 8 power 2 minus 5 times n is 8 as well. So here, use your calculator, you should get 117 minus, here you should get 88. So your final answer is 29. Okay. Question C, the sum of the 4th term to the 8th term. So this is actually similar to the previous question, question B. So wait, let me erase this and I show you the example again. Let's say you have the same sequence, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, right? If I am asking you, can you find for me the sum of 4th term and 5th term, or sum of 4th term to 7th term? So for you to solve this, what you can do is, same thing, you can find the sum of, let's say here got 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the sum of all 7 terms minus the sum of 3 terms. Why? Because when you solve the sum, you take sum of 7 terms minus the sum of 3 terms, you will be left with the sum of T4, term 4, term 5, term 6, and term 7. So that is the sum of 4th to 7th term. Correct? Does it make sense? So in other words, you are taking the sum of T7 minus the sum of, not the 4th, but the 3rd. Okay, sum of 3 terms. Okay, so take note of that. You don't want to minus the sum of 4 terms. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this, but if you don't understand, no worries, there are a lot of exercises to help you with this. Okay, so no worries. Alright, so let's do this together. So question C, you want to find sum of 4th term to 8th term, so you take sum of 8 minus sum of 3, not sum of 4, yeah, sum of 3. So what's your answer? S8 would be, actually you already counted here, which is 88, but I'm going to write it anyways. 2 times 8 square minus 5 times 8 minus 2 times 3 square minus 5 times 3. Answer is 88 minus 3. Just use your calculator. Answer is 85. Mr. Tong ordered 1,000 Form 4 Mathematics textbook to be sold at his shop. He estimated that 10 books sold on the first day, 14 books on second day, 18 books on the third day. So from here, you can form your sequence. What's the sequence? The first book is the first day, which is n equals to 1. That means the first day. The books sold would be 10 books. And then when it's second day, he sold 14 books. On the third day, he sold 18 books, and so on. Okay, and he continues. Okay, so now the question is, they're telling you there are 1,000 books. So where can you place the 1,000? 1,000 is the sum of all the books, right? Once he sells off everything, whatever that day is, the sum of all the books here should come up to 1,000. correct? So because that's all the books that he has. Okay, so question 1, calculate the number of days for Mr. Tong to sell all the books. So you want to find the n value. Okay, so just use back this equation. So question A, what's your A value? The first term in the sequence is 10, and the common difference is 14 minus 10, which is 4. Okay, so you got your A value and you got your D value. So now we're going to count Sn equals to 1000. Sum of all the days of number of books is equivalent to 1000. So Sn, what's the formula? N over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 d equals to 1000. So you don't know what's the n value, so I'm going to leave it blank. 2 times a plus n minus 1 d value is 4 equals to 1000. So what I'm going to do, if I'm going to expand this, okay, I'm going to expand this, so you get 10 10n plus 2n square minus 2n equals to 1000. Okay, so rearrange this. Now if you think this is too fast, you can do it step by step. Okay, I just want to do it a bit quicker. So 2n square plus 8n minus 1000 equals to 0. So from here, actually you can use your calculator, but you should get a decimal number. So you can use the formula to solve this. So A is, wait, you can simplify this first. Simplify, you'll notice that this whole thing here can divide by 2. So you get n square plus 4n minus 500 equals to 0. So from here, what is your A value? A value is 1, B value is 4, C value is negative 500. So to solve this, n equals to, remember what's the quadratic formula? Negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2. Okay, so negative b is what? B is 4 plus minus b square is 4 square minus 4ac over, sorry, this is 2a, yeah? Over 2 times a is 1. 2 times 1, okay? So you should get negative 4 plus minus 4 square is 16 is plus 5 times 4, 2000 over 2. So you should have two answers, okay, because you have plus minus, correct? So the first answer would be, I just write here, equals to negative 4 plus square root 2016 over 2. And the second answer would be negative 4 minus square root 2016 over 2. So first answer here should be equivalent to 20.45 equals to negative 24.45. Now, in this case, negative value would be rejected. Why? Because it's not possible for you to have negative n value, correct? N value here represents the number of days. Can you have a negative number of days? No. So the negative value here is rejected. So now how many days? Since you have decimal, this should be equivalent to 21 days. Okay, why I cannot use 20? Because he requires more than 20 days. If you take 20, it means he's selling less. He didn't reach the 1000 books. He didn't manage to sell all 1000, because it says here you need 20.45, right? Not 20. So if you put 20, it means he didn't finish selling the 1000. He needs another extra day, which is by day 21 is where he sells off everything. Alright, so your answer should be 21 days. Next, calculate the increment of the books to sell each day in order for all the books to be sold in 10 days. So now, you see what's the difference here? They're asking for calculate the increment of the books to sell each day. So now in this case, you are no longer using this. the D value is no longer 4 because now they are changing the increment. The previous one was every increment is plus 4. Okay, every day he sells 4 more books extra. But in this case, they're asking you to find the new D value, the new increment, such that it is sold within 10 days. So in this case, your method should be, so the sum of 10 days worth of books sold should be equivalent to 1000, right? Because he sold everything within 10 days. So your n value is 10 days. So you're going to use your formula again, n over, so in this case n value is 10, right? So it's 10 over 2 times 2a. So a is the same, which is 10 books, plus 10 minus 1. D, you don't know what's the D value, equivalent to 1000. Okay, so 5 times 20 plus 9D equals to 1000. So you shift this, 9D should be equivalent to 1000 divided by 5 minus 20. So D value is equals to 200 minus 20 is 180 divided by 9. Answer is 20. So each day the increment should be 20 books. Okay, so this is your answer. Sorry, I have to shrink everything. I don't have much space. So yeah, this is your answer. A wire with length of 240 cm is cut into 15 pieces. Okay, they cut into 15 pieces such that the length of each piece follows an arithmetic progression. The longest piece of wire is 30 cm. Calculate the length of shortest wire. So question A. First thing, you want to know what are all these data here. So you have a sequence of length, correct? Now the length of the wire. So you have short one, long, 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 and so on. It keeps on increasing, correct? So that's your sequence. One thing you know is there are 15 pieces, correct? Assuming if they arrange from the shortest to the longest one is 30, correct? So from here, the final term, which is the 15th piece, the 15th wire, should be 30 cm. So T15 should be 30 cm. Okay, that's what it meant here. And then they said the wire with length. So you have an entire wire of 240 cm. So that means the sum of all 15 should be equals to 240 cm. Okay, so now you have two of these to solve. So now they want you to find the shortest wire. Shortest wire, in other words, would be the A value, correct? You want to find the A value because that's the shortest. Okay, so in this case, you don't have the D value, you don't have the A value, but you have these two equations. In other words, you have to solve using simultaneous. Okay, so let me show you how you can do this. Question A, the first equation, let's use T15 equals to 30. So what's the formula for term? A plus n minus 1 D equals to 30. So A, you don't know what it is, but n value you know, 15 minus 1. D you don't know as well. Answer is 30. A plus 14D equals to 30. So this is your first equation, right? Second equation, we'll use your S15, which is equals to 240. Now guys, you can't use this formula, n over 2 A plus L. You cannot use this. Why? Reason is because if you're using simultaneous, right, here you have A and D value. So this equation only has A. So you cannot use this because you don't have the D value, right? If you want to use simultaneous, you must have the two variables that you are looking for. You want to compare the two equations, so you must have the same variables. So in this case, you have to use n over 2 times A plus n minus 1 D equals to 240. So what's your n value? 15 over 2A plus 15 minus 1 D value you don't know, equals to 240. So now you can expand this. Okay, so 15 over 2 times 2a, you should get 15a plus, this will be 14. 14 divided by 2, 7. 7 times 15, 105d equals to 240. So here you can actually simplify by dividing by 15 each of the values. So you should get a plus 7d equals to 16. Okay, so if you notice, you want to find the shortest wire, correct? Shortest wire means, like I said, the a value. So since you want to find the a value, you have to eliminate the d value, correct? So in this case, I'm going to multiply the whole equation here by 2 so that I make the d value the same. Then I can eliminate them. So you get 2a plus 14d equals to 32. So this is your second equation. So now you can compare. So 2a plus 14d equals to 32. So since they are the same sign here, I'm going to use elimination method, minus. So here you can eliminate. So negative a equals to negative 2. So what is a value? A value is 2 cm. So the shortest length of wire is 2 cm. So shortest wire equals to 2 cm. Okay, now question B, find the difference between the two consecutive wire. So now they want you to find the d value. So just substitute into any of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2. So in this case, I'm going to take this original one. So a plus 7d equals to 16. You want to find d value, right? So d is equals to 16 minus a over 7. 16 minus, what is a? A is 2 divided by 7. So 14, 7 divided by 14 is also 2 cm. Okay, so the difference between each of the consecutive wires are 2 cm longer than the previous one. Okay, so that's how you solve this kind of questions. Alright, so that is all for arithmetic progression. I hope you learned something from this video. These are the 4 main things that we have covered for this video, and so that's all. Yeah, so I hope to see you guys in my upcoming video. Right, take care. Bye bye.